What's up, guys? It can be easy to get discouraged when dealing with infertility, so here's a few tips on how to stay positive. So the first tip is something that's taken me a while to get used to, but over time it's become more comfortable, and that is positive affirmations. Positive affirmations make me think of used to make me think of when I was a little kid and my mom would just be like, you need to be positive and you need to say positive things to yourself, and like, it just seemed like nonsense, and it seemed like my mom doesn't know what she's talking about, she doesn't know how life really works, and that doesn't work. And as an adult, I have learned that it does work for me. Saying positive things over and over to myself, whether in the mirror, which can be really uncomfortable at first that you get used to, or just like in the car while I'm driving, or even just repeating things to myself in my head, really makes a big difference. So, for example, one that I sometimes do, and one of my New Year's resolutions is to do more positive affirmations, so this is good to remind me that I need to work on this as well. One positive affirmation that I sometimes say to myself is, you will be the mom of a healthy baby. So pick something that works for you, whatever you're feeling down about, turn it into something positive and just say it over and over to yourself until you start to believe it. And it's not being unrealistic, it's staying positive about things over and over in life. I've accomplished things and done things that I never thought were possible, but I stayed positive and believed that they were possible and told myself they were possible, and then a lot of times they do become possible. My next tip is something that I'm actually doing right now, which is share. Dealing with infertility at first, I talked to my husband, but I didn't talk to any friends, I didn't talk to my family members, and I didn't have any online support about dealing with infertility. And since I have gone online and started getting involved in different blogs and getting into Reddit groups and sharing my story on YouTube, it has helped me so much. I feel so much better, because when you keep everything to yourself or just talk to your spouse or partner about it, just everything seems, at least for me, it seems to just swirl around in my head, and it's something I think about constantly. And when you can get it out and have people to relate to and talk to, I think that it's much easier to deal with, because you're not just trying to handle it all by yourself. So whether it's, going online anonymously and sharing with people, telling, trusted friends or family members, or just writing in a journal, just getting it out of your head and sharing it in some way, shape, or form, I think is really helpful. I would caution you with sharing online. There are people who will be negative. There are people who will tell horror stories. So if that's not something that you think would be beneficial to you, then share in your own way. But I found it helpful for me. My next tip is to listen to motivational speakers or books about staying positive. Again, this is something that I used to think was nonsense, doesn't work, and regardless of your spiritual or religious beliefs, listening to people who are positive and sharing a positive message and giving you tips on how to stay positive is really helpful, because it's not easy. And this is a skill that can help you in all areas of life, not just infertility. So one speaker that I really enjoy is Tony Robbins. He has a ton of stuff that you can just watch on YouTube. I also downloaded some of his books on Audible and have listened to those several times. Another good positive author that I downloaded on Audible is Sincero, and her book, You Are a Badass. I found that to be really helpful in staying positive in lots of areas of life. I was listening to that when I was on a job search, and I've gone back and listened to her book subsequently when dealing with infertility, and I think it's really great. My next tip is to surround yourself with positive people. If there's anybody in your life who's negative, who is kind of somebody who complains a lot, or who thinks, bad things always happen to them, that is not somebody you want to spend any time with right now. Surrounding yourself with positive people makes a huge difference. When you are feeling right here and you surround yourself with people that are up here, they will bring you up to their level. Whereas if you are here and you surround yourself with people who are down here, and not only are down here, but like being down here and are always down here, they will inevitably pull you down. So you want to surround yourself with people who are going to be positive about themselves, who are will be supportive of you, and just will be cheerleaders for you during this time. And again, if you don't have people in your life that you feel like you can share with, there's some great communities online. The infertility community on YouTube is amazing, and a lot of times if you comment on other people's videos, they will respond and they will give you advice and they will, cheer you on. And same thing, there's some great groups on Reddit. If there's any other groups that you guys have found to be helpful online besides YouTube and Reddit, please post them down in the comments so I can check out those groups, because I'm always looking for other support systems. And my last tip is that you have to suspend disbelief. And this kind of summarizes, all the tips that I've given in this video, and a lot of them are overlapping, but really you have to stop saying to yourself, it's not possible. If you don't believe it's possible, then you're going to miss opportunities that you have to make it possible simply because you stopped thinking it was possible. I saw this quote on Twitter the other day from an actor, and he was talking about job opportunities. And I think it's worth me reading because it really hit home for me for a lot of reasons, but also applies to the infertility journey. So the tweet was by Jack Wagner, and I looked him up and he's on some older shows, I forget which ones, but I don't really know him, hadn't really heard of him, but he was retweeted by somebody I follow on Twitter. So this is what he said. He said, "Belated New Year's positivity thread. People often hit me up for career advice, which is funny because I don't think I'm qualified, but that is actually the key to the best advice I can give. Everyone you look up to is secretly a complete idiot. The secret is that there's no secret. If you're good at something and want to make it your career, you need to be aggressively doing that thing and doing it publicly. If you're a photographer, you need to be shooting and posting your photos. If you're a writer, you need to be writing, even if nobody cares at first. Most opportunities come from people passing a job off when they can't do it themselves. When that happens with me, there's only a few people I can think of to hand it to. Some of them aren't even good. They're just visibly doing it, and they have some proof that they do it. A strange mental obstacle people have is wanting to do something but waiting for somebody to come ask them to do it, and that will never happen. In fact, people doing the thing you want to do, no matter how nice they seem, will work against you because they view you as competition. You may notice that lots of famous or successful people are hugely egotistical morons. That's because being a moron let them skip right over that hesitation phase. On the contrary, you will also notice that many people who are naturally gifted at something don't end up making it work. If you stick to this and grow, you will notice it's hard to respect or be around people who constantly talk about doing stuff and don't follow through. Likewise, people will respect you for doing a thing even if the thing isn't for them. Simply doing a thing is so important. I'm not qualified to give advice, but I do know this to be true. Life isn't a movie, and a magical being isn't going to show up and say your time has come. If Harry Potter was real, he would still be living under the stairs, and the best wizard would be sadly somebody like Logan Paul. This advice is not meant for everyone. It skips over a lot of stuff, including hard work. It sounds too simple, but you have no idea how many careers I've seen not happen because a person didn't start doing whatever it was they wanted to do. So, big picture, what I took from that is you have to go out and actively pursue what you want in life, whether it's a job, whether it's a life goal, or whether it's being a positive person. Being a positive person and dealing with a difficult struggle well doesn't just happen to people. People aren't just born positive and life is easy and being positive is easy. Anybody who makes you think that is putting on a front or isn't really happy or is, you know, 1 in a million. Like, that just isn't real life. And so being positive is a hard work, and you have to put effort into it. And I think the amount of effort you put into it is what you get out of it. So if you want to stay positive about the potential for success in infertility and for surviving this journey, then you need to put in the effort to stay positive and do the things that you need to do to get yourself there. And it's not gonna work every day, and it's not gonna be easy, but the rewards are really huge. And they're so huge that time and time in life, again, when I've stayed positive and I've actively pursued my goals, I've accomplished them. And I'm going to suspend disbelief that this will not happen for me. I'm not somebody who wakes up every day and always feels great. A lot of times I don't feel good, and I feel down, and I feel depressed, and I have bad days all the time. But pushing yourself to work hard on staying positive and doing things every single day that improve your ability to be a positive person eventually make you a positive person, and you don't have to work as hard at it. So those are my tips. If you have any other tips about staying positive during an infertility journey, then please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you guys do to make it through this crazy ride. And I'll see you guys in my next video.